three biggest issues I think that Destiny 2 PvP has at the moment. And I feel like if these things were not an issue, this game would be in a much better state when it comes to PvP. And for all those people that are like, Destiny isn't really a PvP game, it's a PvE game, I do not agree with that. In my humble opinion, it is also a PvP game. Obviously, the numbers speak for themselves. Like when Trials came back, it was like crazy amounts of people enjoying it the first week. And I feel like a huge part of this community is chasing PvP. But I also feel like there's a few huge issues with the game in terms of PvP. Now, keep in mind that I'm not talking about these issues do not concern new players in a way. Let me explain why. Because if you're a new player to Destiny 2, there's just so much content to chase and so much to do. And you're just having a blast chasing those exotics and armor pieces and whatever it is. So you're not really gonna feel this until you get to the end game. You get, let's say, most of the loot, and then you're like, oh, I see what's happening. So let me start off with the first one, ladies and gentlemen, that I feel like is an issue, and that is new modes and maps for PvP. Okay, I feel like this is a huge issue. When you have a game like Destiny 2, and there's literally no new maps for around 2 years now, I feel like that's a huge issue. I wish they would address this a bit faster. I wish we would get more PvP maps more often and new modes. Playing the same modes over and over and over again is just a huge issue, man. Like we have Iron Banner, for example, but let's be honest here. It's pretty much control, but there's like fire from, time to time in different locations. And I get that, there's a change of pace at some point, like when you take all the zones, but it's still control. There's not like a huge difference. Not having those new modes makes the game, whether we want to acknowledge this or not, kind of boring, because you're playing the same shit over and over and over again, and you don't have really many choices to go ahead and play another mode. Like, for example, even in D1 we had Rift, which was a pretty fun mode. I would love to have like a 2v2 mode or something like that. But the biggest thing I would absolutely love to see in this game is a true competitive mode. Something that works like, for example, Apex, where it doesn't have to be necessarily the exact same, but let's say you go into competitive and you have these leagues of bronze, silver, gold, platinum, whatever it is after, and then you get to, let's say, Grandmaster or whatever you want to call it. You just get to the very top of the league. And honestly, they don't even have to make weapons for this shit. It doesn't have to be some broken weapon at the end of this journey. It could just be a really cool ornament, shader, hell, even an emblem that would make you kind of stand out. And for those people who will get it, they will have that feeling of, holy shit, I got it done, and kind of stand out in the crowd. I feel like that would be a huge step in the right direction for Destiny 2 at the moment, having that actual true competitive mode. Obviously, what I'm saying right now, these are just ideas. I understand that they can be perfected and maybe the leagues work in a different way. I don't know if you want to have so many, for example, bronze, silver, gold, platinum. Maybe you just want to have 3. But maybe then those 3 are divided into like 4 small sections or something like that. People will chase ornaments, emblems, and shaders that make them stand out. It doesn't have to be, as I mentioned, some broken weapon. So I feel like that would be an amazing addition to the game. And that's, for me, that is one of the 3 problems that this game has when it comes to PvP. Not having new modes, new maps, and a true competitive mode. Now, let's move on to the second part of the biggest issue I have with this game. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you will agree with me. Maybe not, but this is just my humble opinion. I feel like this game, they take way too long on fixing shit. When there's something very dominant in the game, it takes way too long to balance it out. A perfect example, Shadow Dive. It's been around for like 10 months or something, and we're still going against it every day. And I'm a hunter main, and I can tell you right now, that shit is broken. It's too easy. It destroys supers. It destroys pretty much anything that gets in its way. And the fact that it's taking so long to tone it down and balance it out is just crazy to me. We had the same situation in many metas actually. For example, the hand cannon meta, the 120s were dominating the Crucible. They were pretty much hitting scout rifle ranges, and it made weapons like pulse rifles, auto rifles, just unusable. There was no point to use it. Obviously, you could use it, but what was the point? Like, these hand cannons were just so dominant, so much better than any other option out there. And especially when you have maps like Destiny 2 has, which are not that big, pretty small to medium range, you don't really need to use a scout rifle on 90% of the maps when you have a hand cannon that hits 500 meters away. And I feel like when there's something this dominant in the game, it should be toned down a bit faster. We shouldn't have to wait 6 months, 9 months, a year, 4 years for them to make a change. That will be my second biggest issue with the game when it comes to PvP, just not addressing shit as soon as it should be addressed and taking way too long. I feel like that is a huge issue. Third issue, and this is kind of a, a topic that a lot of people have different opinions on, obviously, but this is just going to be my opinion on it. Matchmaking is a huge issue. Now, let me explain why I think so. Most of the queues are skill-based, and it makes it an absolute sweat fest. Now, for the people that are saying, yeah, but, average players don't want to go against good players, so they don't want connection-based, let me explain to you a few things. First of all, we don't have dedicated servers on this game, okay? We all know this. This is a problem. And especially when you don't have dedicated servers, and you're putting me in a skill-based matchmaking in normal control or quick play or whatever you want to call it, and I have to play a dude thousands of miles away, and I'm just going through horrible lag. That's not cool. Now, if we had dedicated servers, that would probably be a different conversation, but we don't. And the reality is, when you make all these playlists into skill-based, there's a lot of lag happening. There's a lot of teleporting happening, and it's annoying as hell. Playlists should be connection-based, and then we should have playlists that are skill-based, such as, for example, trials and the true competitive mode that we're talking about. If it ever makes its way to the game, that will be perfect. And let me explain why. So let's say we have that true competitive mode where you're hopping in and you start every season at bronze. So you make your way up, and it's skill-based, and it's fine because everybody at the beginning of the season is gonna be at bronze. So you make your way up to bronze 2, bronze 3, bronze 4, it doesn't matter, right? So you make your way up, and then at some point you will stop at your skill level. So if you're an average player, and if you don't want to go against sweats, when you make your way up to silver 3, for example, you're gonna stop there, because you're gonna struggle getting to silver 4 to get out of the silver league, right? So you are gonna be in your skill-based bracket anyway. It's not gonna hurt you there. And if you don't want to do connection-based, yeah, just don't go into those connection-based modes. I get that. And just go into this competitive mode that will have both pretty much connection and skill-based, just because how the system works. I feel like skill-based shouldn't be everywhere. There should be connection-based playlists, and there should be skill-based. We should have both options. I feel like that will be the best thing for the game at the moment. Anyway, I would love to hear your opinions on this, guys. Okay, I really would. I've been thinking about this, and I'm hoping that in the future the game will get these little fixes. I feel like with all the changes that I just talked about, Destiny 2's PvP would be in a way better and a sexier place. Let me tell you that much.